Hey guys, it's Edwin here, and today I'm going to talk about why the narcissist discard is such a painful experience. The question which will buzz in the back of your mind during the discard phase of a narcissistic relationship is, how can they do that to me, yet they claim that they love me? Of course, you knew they were abusive, but now during the discard, they are displaying their true colors. And a narcissist discard is not like a normal breakup where you might share final sentiments, have a fair share of the spoils, and even end in some sort of good terms. A discard is where, like, a narcissist leaves you in a cruel possible manner, and you might even think that you'll never pull through this phase of life. In a way, a discard is supposed to be like a celebration because you've finally been let off the hook by someone who's terrorized you and used you in all possible ways. But that's not always the case. And actually, the discard phase is a very painful experience because you are experiencing two types of pain. The pain as a result of your present circumstances, as a result of like the discard itself, and also the pain which results from your past unresolved pain. So it hurts so much because you are experiencing all the pain you've buried deep within you, as well as the pain due to your current present circumstances in life. And in this video, I'm going to explore the painful feelings you are experiencing in the present moment, as well as the wounds which have been triggered by the discard. The first scenario is the narcissist discard in itself is a trigger of your past unhealed wounds. You see, a narcissist discard is an event where someone you once loved, in quotes, or looked up to is leaving you. So this event will trigger unresolved childhood abandonment or rejection wounds. And when you are a kid, you may have been abandoned or rejected by your caregivers or the adults you looked up to in your life. So the rejection could have been in the form of like emotionally unavailable caregivers, childhood neglect, or even a loss of a loved one. So when you've not healed those wounds, it means that you are still carrying with you those negative emotions from the past. So when a narcissist discards you, it brings those unhealed wounds to light, or it makes those unhealed wounds from the past look so fresh. In short, a discard is reminding you of the pain you experienced in your childhood, where your loved ones abandoned you or where your loved ones rejected you. Yes, the narcissistic relationship was abusive and hurtful, but on the contrary, it still provided you with a distraction or with a band-aid for the abandonment wounds you've been carrying with you. Now, the discard is more of like removing the band-aid from an existing wound. Your mind will also not do you any good, and it will be spinning with thoughts like, everyone I love will always leave me. So the discard is more of a self-fulfilling prophecy of your deeply held subconscious beliefs about your unworthiness or being unlovable. So, to put it simply, a discard uncovers the pain that was already there deep within you. And the relationship, even if it was toxic, was just distracting you from dealing with that pain. So that's why a discard uncovers past pain. So that's the first kind of pain you will experience during the discard. The other kind of pain you'll experience during the discard is the pain caused by the present circumstances of the discard in your life. Firstly, let's explore just the basic physical effects of a discard in your life. Most people who've been discarded are bullied by the narcissist. They lose most of their physical assets or even custody of their kids. This is because a narcissist will want to show their superiority and might over you. So they may use power to you or anything within their grasp to win. And you may also find yourself not having a place to stay, with no finances, isolated from your support network. So in the present moment, these things in itself will strip you of the physical comfort you had in the relationship. Let's say you had a house, you had a car, or you had a medical cover, as well as stripping you of the ability to fend for yourself or your kids. So the pain of a discard can lead to lacking the basic life necessities, and you will have a hard time like picking yourself up or rebuilding your life. You might have a time looking for a place to stay, looking for a job, or all those things. And the other thing is, you may have also gotten in debt while you're in that relationship, which makes it even harder for you to just have the money to cater for your basic needs like shelter, food, or clothing. So, the discard in itself might physically affect the way you live your life, which is painful when you cannot cater for your own basic needs. The thing is, when you're discarded and you still have like money or you live in your own place, it can be a bit easier to pick yourself up as you are just concentrating on dealing with the emotions deep inside. But when you also have to deal with the basic needs, it makes it more painful. Also, a narcissistic relationship is that kind of relationship where you are not encouraged like to stand for yourself or to build new skills or to just be independent. So you may be mostly dependent on the narcissist financially. So when someone is discarded, they don't even know where to start in terms of looking for their own money or looking for a career. In the physical realm, trying to piece together all those things you have to do moving forward, like to get a house, get a job, to do this, child support, and all those things, can be so depressing and it can even make someone feel so helpless. That's why a discard is a painful experience in the current circumstances. Secondly, when we look at the current circumstances and in terms of the negative emotions you'll experience during the discard, the thing is, you'll be grieving the loss of a relationship you once held dear, which will display the same feelings as when you've lost a loved one. Of course, you cared about them. Might still care about them. So you've lost that thing. So that's a feeling of grief. And you are also confused at how someone you once loved could betray you and leave you for someone else without even giving you a warning or any sort of closure. You will also inflict more harm to yourself by blaming yourself or thinking that you are the one who ruined the relationship. This is reinforced by the fact that the narcissist will also blame you for the end of the relationship. And the fact that they've left you means that you are the problem. That's what happens. When you leave, you don't feel like you're the problem that much. But when they leave you, it means that you'll have this thought of like, actually, they left me. So it means that the problem is me. That's part of the pain. And with your distorted sense of reality, you will easily accept and even justify some of the false accusations the narcissist has said about you. And of course, you justify the fact that they've left you means that you are the problem. And to make things even harder, your loved ones may also believe the narcissist narrative, which will even hurt you more. Because the narcissist may have lied about you or smeared your name, and this will make people turn against you and isolate you. So, some of the emotions you will feel will also arise from the fact that you are feeling so used, like feeling like trash, feeling like someone who's just been used and thrown away, and you are even ashamed of how you allowed someone to do those things to you. So those are just some of the negative emotions you'll experience because of the present circumstances, like blaming yourself, shaming yourself, grief, being isolated from your support network, blaming yourself for what happened. Those are just some of the negative emotions you'll experience as a result of the present effect of the discard in your life. To conclude, like, a narcissist discard is more painful than when you go contact on your own, because the discard in itself carries a message or is conveying a message to you. The message, of course, is interpreted by your traumatized self. And when you are discarded, there's this feeling of powerlessness and hopelessness because you feel that they did it to you. But when you go no contact, there's this feeling of hopefulness and capability. It's more like, I can do it. You did it on your own. You left on your own. But for a discard, you were discarded. The narcissist discard, yes, can be a painful experience, but you can also view it as a blessing in disguise, as I've said before, because you've been let off the hook by someone who's made your life a living hell. And you are now free and you now have the space to really go inwards and work on yourself. So, regardless of the pain you are experiencing because of the discard, use the discard to your advantage. Use the discard to address the wounds the discard exposed. If it's your unhealed wounds, your dependence, your deep insecurity, take the initiative to really go inwards and address them. It is painful, but the only thing you can do for yourself in this present moment is not to discard yourself further, but it's just to be compassionate with yourself and do the necessary work. You are worth more than sticking to that abusive relationship. You just have to rejoice and celebrate that you are finally free and you now have the space and the chance to be completely free. So take the discard as a once in a lifetime opportunity to elevate your level of consciousness and reconnect with your authentic self. Hope you found that informative and helpful in your journey. Until next time, see ya.